Hey y'all, welcome back to Convos with Bree. I'm Bree, BREE, and today is day 82 of the Visibility Challenge. Today I want to tell you about what happened to me last night. Last night was crazy. I went to bed listening to a story about someone who could not sleep. They woke up at all times of the night. They woke up and instantly thought to themselves, if I can just find a way to fix this, if I can analyze it, I can figure out how I fix this. And they were thinking it and overthinking it so much that they were actually making themselves more stuck in this place that they were trying to get out of. And I started thinking about my own sleep disruption and how much I do the same thing where I overthink it and I overanalyze and I tell myself that there is an answer that I just need to find. And I do this quite often because I love patterns. I love to figure out connections. And so I do have a tendency to overanalyze things. And I have to remind myself that this isn't a place that needs me to overanalyze it. This is a place that needs me to sit back and just let it be. And a lot of this video connected with me because I previously wasn't really looking at this in this area of my life. And I know this. I know how accurate this is because I've worked on this in so many other areas of my life. And I have seen the drastic change between who I was when I did things this way versus who I am when I do things the way I do now. And nothing, absolutely nothing is the same as it once was for me because I do all of these things differently. I am aware in a sense that I can't unknow what I know. So anytime I catch myself trying to slip back into old habits in these other areas, it's easy to catch myself because I have been doing so much work here for so long, because I am so in tune and so aware. And so hearing the story and thinking about how my sleep just fluctuates. Sometimes I'm great and sometimes I just can't get it together for months. And I don't really have any rhyme or reason for why. Well, last night was drifting off listening to this video. So I shut it down. I went to sleep. And the next thing I know, I'm up at 2 a.m. And the very first thing I noticed was that I was thinking about the video. I was trying to connect what was missing, what could I fix, what's the pattern. And I reminded myself of what the video said. This is not a place for thoughts, not tonight. Tonight is a place of feeling, of letting it be here, of letting myself feel what is happening in my body, and just to be aware of what I was truly embodying in that moment. Not so I could fix it, not so I could analyze it, just so that I could be in it. And the craziest thing happened because I was not aware that I was feeling anything other than curious. And the moment I let myself just be in it, and I reminded myself we weren't figuring this out, I started to feel what I was feeling in that very moment. And I was so surprised because I felt so heavy and so uncomfortable. And I was I was holding all of this energy. And then I just started feeling water on my face. And these silent tears were just pouring out of my eyes. And no matter what I did, they were not stopping. Like, at first I did not want to be crying at 2 a.m. because I was like, I'm getting up early. I've got things to do. This is not how I'm trying to spend my evening. But then I remembered the video, and I remembered I need to feel what this is. So I let those tears fall. And I just laid there, and I didn't think about why they were falling. I didn't think about what I could do to make them stop. I just felt them, and I let them fall. And then Marco started stirring, and I reached out, and he held my hand and went back to sleep. He was so sweet. And then Penny came up on my other side and snuggled up on me. And the tears fell a little faster. And then they slowly stopped. And I understood instantly that I know this feeling. I'm still feeling grief from all the loss, from the knowledge that every single person, every single soul that I love and that I love having in my life presently, there's no guarantee on how long I will be able to be with them or them with me. And it's so strange because I've done so much work here, and I've expanded my perspective on all of this life, death, all of it so much. And it doesn't make me as sad anymore because I am sure of it. I am sure that we come back together. But it's still unknown, and it's still scary. And it still leaves us without each other physically for an undetermined amount of time. And I learned that so young, that you could just blink and your life changes. Somebody that is a staple in your life is just gone. And I had that happen over and over in my life in so many different ways. And as I laid there last night, I understood something. It's not something that I worked to come up with. It just came to me. And that is that maybe all fears are different. Maybe some fears are meant to be faced and acknowledged, and they let go off of your system. And maybe other truths that we don't have any control over. Maybe those fears are there to remind us. They don't come up so that we can pretend that we're healing them. Because you guys, I've been doing this for the majority of my life, trying to pretend that it doesn't bother me to be earthside without them. I've been trying to find a way to get my brain, to trick my brain, honestly, into not like feeling happy they're gone, but being okay with everything that happened. And while, yes, I am okay, I have, moved with life. I'm not just sitting here being angry still and crying and being stuck in the grief like I was at different times of my life. But I'm also still thinking about them actively, often. I'm still fearing what could happen to the people that are still here. I am still struggling with the knowledge that I gained from going through loss. And I've always looked at it as something that I need to move past. I can't let this be something that becomes who I am. But it is who I am. It's the people that are no longer here, the pets, the people, all of it, these beautiful, beautiful souls. They're my foundation. It doesn't matter how much time has gone by. I love them. I want to say even more. I love them more in time. I live my life thinking about how I can make them proud, how I can talk about them, how I can keep their memory alive and use their story, use their impact on me for something greater. How can I use this to keep them here in some way, shape, or form? I also genuinely believe that they are somewhere else. And I don't know what that means. I don't have the knowledge or the capacity to understand that at this junction of my life. But I know it. In my soul, I know. And the way that we've connected, wherever they are, we can still feel each other. We can still connect. I've had so many examples of that I am absolutely sure of it. And to me, that means that if I can do something here in their memory, and if I can make their impact still important, I genuinely feel like it does something for them wherever they are too. And again, if they are doing something that enhances me, I feel like I feel it on certain days. And I know that I will see everybody again. That's one thing that really comforts me about dying, is that I truly believe that when we die, all those people that have already left us here, they're there to greet us, and they're there to help us, and they're already there paving paths for us for when we get there. I think that is the most beautiful way that I can look at it, and it's the way that makes me feel the most okay about being here without them. But it doesn't make it any less hard. It doesn't mean that I want to spend a single second of my life feeling that again. But I know that there's a high probability that it's either going to be them missing me or me missing them. And both ways really try me. They're both very challenging. And last night when I woke up and those tears were falling, I realized how much fear I still hold, and I do not allow myself to acknowledge. So I am unsettled in my sleep because I am not allowing myself to be honest about this part of it. And I think a lot of that does come from hearing so much from other people who say, to me, who have said to others, we got to move on. You got to get over it. You got to let it go. You can't stay here forever. And I agree, you can't stay in the level of grief stricken living that I was doing 10 years ago. You can't. Not even. It was like less than that. It happened 10 years ago, but I stayed in that for 3.5 years, just deeply grieving. And I just could not find a way to live. I could not find a way to laugh or be happy. And thankfully, 3.5 years in, I started to see some light. But it's been hard. Even now, like, it's been a process. It's been a big process. And I still have days where I wake up and it's just heavy on my heart. I still have days. I lost my grandma when I was 8 years old. I still wake up and I miss her. I wish I could see her. I wish I could talk to her. I wish I could hear her play me A Whole New World on the piano and I could just dance around the room. Impactful people never lose their impact on your life. And by walking around and pretending that I'm over it or that I'm okay now or that I've healed and life is good and I don't have this fear anymore, it's just a lie. I'll always have this fear because it's true. It just is. But now I can be aware of it. Now I can sit with it. I can find time. I can make space to sit with my real feelings and allow myself to just feel them. And this beautiful thing happened last night when I'm holding Marco's hand and I'm rubbing on Penny all snuggled up on me. And I realized what a beautiful problem to have love so deep in so many spaces that you are literally terrified. What a beautiful problem to have. I would rather have that fear of losing them than not have the love. Always and forever. I would rather go through that pain than not get to experience them while we're here. And that truly is an incredibly beautiful problem to have. And I allowed myself to just be grateful for these feelings and for these tears and for this fear and for the life that I live that brings this to me. I said a thank you to everyone that I have lost that changed me and shaped me and continues to do so. And wherever they are, I continue to send them blue bubbles of light and goodness and just beautiful energy in any way that I can. I laid there and I found myself, when the tears stopped, in such a moment of deep gratitude, of love that felt like it was picked up in every cell of my body. And then I closed my eyes and I just listened to my breath and I felt it just being in my body. I didn't try to control it. I didn't try to change it. I just felt it. I felt my heart beating. I felt my inner world working. And then I was asleep. And I did not wake up until the alarm was going off and Marco heard the alarm and gently came over and woke me up all sweet like he does. And I got to just see his beautiful face and I got to see Penny run up from out of the covers and shake herself out and greet us for the day. She's so sweet. And I knew I was going to have a beautiful day with my mom today. And I knew that all of these beautiful celebrations are happening in the next couple of weeks. And I knew I got to get on and do this today. I got to be here with all of you and write something honest and beautiful and share this story. And I just thought, wow, that really changed something. That really made a difference. That affected me in a big way. And now I know, and I can't unknow it. They were talking about how, in the video that I was listening to before I fell asleep, they were talking about how your nervous system has a floor. And it's basically like you can put your feet on the floor with your nervous system. But for so many of us, we've never felt what it feels like to be alive without our nervous system activated. It described like a low hum that you feel in your jaw, up by your ears, in your neck, in your shoulders, in your stomach, wherever your body takes on stress and tension and all of it. And if you don't know your nervous system without it being activated, you really don't know how to put your feet on the floor. You don't know how to ground your nervous system. So your nervous system keeps reaching for what it knows, and that is to alert you, to sound the alarm, to take note of everything that could possibly be a threat. And if you don't know how to calm your nervous system because you've never done it, you don't know what it feels like to live without the tension, the stress, the low hum of your nervous system being activated. And I resonated with that so much because no matter how much work I have done, I am still acutely aware of my nervous system, that I have not crossed a final bridge or anything close to it. I am very aware of how much work I still have to do when it comes to my nervous system. But I also recognize how far I have come. I have moved mountains within, but there is always, always room for more growth. And I think that if there's not, then you're dead. You're done. You did it. So growth is the ultimate experience in my brain. It's a thing that I constantly strive for because I think that's truly what being alive is being able to grow and expand, change your perspective and your perception of self and become a completely different version. You can live however you want to live on this earth, on this lifetime. You can do it multiple ways. You can try it multiple ways. You can be multiple versions of yourself in one lifetime. And all of them can be true. Because when you show up, you are showing up fully as who you are choosing to be, whether you are aware of what you are choosing or not. I know a long time ago, I spent a lot of time in a victim mentality. So everything was happening to me, and I lived a life fully being in victimized mode, and a lot of bad things kept reoccurring because I was living from a state that kept me feeling victimized. Once I stopped that and I started taking matters into my own hands and saying, I'm going to lead the way here. I'm going to step out of being a victim, and I am going to do what feels right for what I need and what I desire in these situations, in these experiences. And once I started doing that, everything changed. I was no longer the victimized version of myself. And I knew too much now. I was never going back to that. I couldn't, even if I wanted to. It didn't feel the same because I knew that it wasn't true and I knew that I was choosing it now. And it felt crazy to say that back in the day because I didn't feel like I was choosing anything. Everything really was happening to me. But I didn't understand then that it was my reaction to what was happening. It was my responses, my thoughts, who I was becoming through those things. That's what I was missing. I didn't understand that I had any power in it. But the thing happened. That's the only part I didn't have any power in. I had full control over what I did with what I was surrounded by and what was happening. But it took a lot of learning and it took a lot of failing forward for me to be able to understand that. And then I would learn it and then I would forget it. And then I would learn it and I would forget it and I would learn it. Or I wouldn't forget it, but I wouldn't seal it into another area of my life. And so it would keep showing up in other places. It's all just part of it. And now I know I have a choice in all of it. I can choose to grieve and I can choose to feel the feelings. But I can also choose to be happy and laugh no matter what is going on. It's okay to be all of these different things. It's okay to be different moment to moment. It's okay to show up new. It's okay to show up as you were and learn. I think this whole idea is just to slow down even more, to be in it even more. A layer of presence that I didn't even understand that existed until last night. When you start to see everything as an opportunity, every single moment is an opportunity to try something new, to show up as a new version of yourself, to reroute old beliefs, to try new things, whatever it looks like. When we start showing up in that energy, it all changes faster than we can even really grasp. I like it here. I like what I'm learning. I love what happened last night, and I will be taking every opportunity to stop and feel the moment, feel what is happening in my body, feel what is true in my moment for me. And I will be letting it be more deeply, more beautifully. And I think that unintentionally, I will heal in ways that I didn't even know were possible because of this new understanding and this new way of being. All right, y'all. That wraps day 82 of the Visibility Challenge. I will let you know again, if you pop on over to Convos with Bree and you hit subscribe, I will send you an email right away that will have your pattern map in it. And it's really cool, y'all. It's a beautiful way of expanding your mindset, of the way that you see things, the way you see yourself, the way you respond. So you can just subscribe. That's all you have to do at convoswithbree.com. And then you can go ahead and get that pattern map right to your email. There's tons of reflections, tons of reflection questions on there. There's more Visibility Day challenges up until today. So go and pop over there, check it out. Let me know what you think. That is my baby. I love it. I work my butt off on it. I will never stop growing. Convoswithbree.com. It is my heart and soul, and I just love it. So if you want to have a one-on-one conversation, you can explore it there. You can fill out the form and let me know. We can just see if it's a fit. We can see if it's something that we think will be a good direction for you. So, y'all, I'm here. If you just want to write me and let me know the influence that this has had on you, feel free to send me an email or a DM or comment, whatever you do. I'm all over here. So just let me know. Let me know your thoughts. I appreciate you all so much. And remember, nothing that is meant for you will miss you. So just be here now.